Imagine waking up every day at minus 85 degrees Celsius, knowing that if you mess up one tiny detail, it's not just you who suffers. Your whole family depends on you not to freeze, and at the same time, you're fighting not to freeze on the inside from so much anxiety. In this video, I'm going to show you how one family manages to survive in Yakutia at minus 85 degrees Celsius without going crazy, using powerful Japanese techniques to keep their minds steady, and how you can use the same ideas even if you live in a warm place, but feel trapped inside a snowstorm of thoughts. Anxiety at minus 85 degrees Celsius. How a family survives in Yakutia without going crazy. Japanese techniques. 1. Introduction from Anxiety at minus 85 degrees Celsius to your everyday life. Visual. Thumbnail on screen. Image of the family in the snow. Slow zoom on the red. 85 degrees C. When you saw this thumbnail saying anxiety at minus 85 degrees Celsius, you might have thought, okay, that's just YouTube exaggeration. But in Yakutia, in the far east of Russia, there are people who literally live in temperatures that go below minus 70, minus 80 degrees. And more than just surviving the cold, they have to deal with something you know very well. Anxiety, fear, constant worry about the future. Today I want to take you inside the daily life of a Yakut family living in this insane environment. And I want to use their story to show you 3 Japanese techniques that help keep the mind stable, even when it feels like the world outside, or inside, is completely frozen. By the end of this video, you'll have a mini Yakutia protocol you can use on your worst anxiety days. So if you feel like you live in survival mode, carrying your family, your job, your bills, and everyone's expectations on your shoulders, stay with me. Because living with anxiety at minus 85 degrees Celsius is not that different from living with anxiety in your house. The difference is how this family learned to build psychological shelter on the inside. What it's really like to live with a family at minus 85 degrees Celsius. Visual. Houses buried in snow, school, parents taking kids outside, vapor coming from mouths, ice on eyebrows. Before we talk about techniques, you need to understand the battlefield. In Yakutia, this family isn't just fighting the cold. Your breath freezes in the air, bare skin sticks to metal, boiling water can freeze almost instantly. A simple mistake, forgetting a glove, misjudging how long you can stay outside, can turn into a real emergency. Now put that into a family context. It's not just you protecting yourself. It's thinking about clothes, food, fuel, the kids getting to school, health, medicine, all in a place where, if you run out of firewood or the car won't start, there's no food delivery, no Uber, no mall. It's an endless list of things that could go wrong. Sounds familiar? That's an anxious mind in hyper-alert mode. So when I say anxiety at minus 85 degrees Celsius, it's not just a metaphor. It's waking up every day knowing you have to function, work, take care of your kids, keep the house warm, with your body under extreme stress and your mind tempted to imagine disaster 24/7. The difference in this family is how they organize their minds inside all this chaos. Anxiety in survival mode. When your mind becomes Yakutia. Close up on the mother/father looking through a frosted window. Cut to you talking calmly. You might not live in Yakutia, but mentally you live in a similar place. You wake up and there's that ice in your chest already. What if I lose my job? What if something happens to my kid? What if I can't handle everything? Your mind turns any forecast of rain into a minus 85 degrees Celsius blizzard. This Yakut family has very real reasons to worry. If they run out of gas, if the river freezes too much, if the road closes. But if they spend all day anticipating catastrophe, no one leaves the bed. They've learned something that Japanese therapy works a lot with. Not denying the danger, but separating real risk from the mental movie that only burns through their energy. Here's the first insight. Your anxious mind is already living in Yakutia, even if outside it's 25 degrees. You're constantly scanning for danger, imagining horrible outcomes. If you don't learn to tell the difference between a real blizzard and imaginary snow, you freeze on the inside before you've even left the house. Japanese technique number 1. Emotional Kaizen as a family, tiny steps that warm the mind. Visual, family doing small routines, making tea, lining up boots, stacking firewood, simple text overlay. Emotional Kaizen. In Japan, there's a concept called Kaizen, continuous improvement in tiny steps. This family, maybe without using that word, applies Kaizen to their anxiety. Instead of trying to control the whole winter at once, they focus on small actions they can actually do today: checking firewood, laying out the kids' clothes, preparing food for tomorrow. Why does that help with anxiety? Because an anxious mind wants to solve everything at once. This month, this year, your whole life, your retirement, everyone's health. Emotional Kaizen means asking, what is the next tiny step that's truly in my hands right now? In Yakutia, that might be lighting the morning fire. In your life, it might be taking a shower, answering one email, booking a doctor's appointment. When this family moves through micro-tasks, it's not just logistics. It's a way of telling their brain, something is under control here. Every small completed action is one extra degree of internal warmth. You don't have to control the entire winter, just the next useful minute. That lowers the feeling of chaos and slowly turns down the anxiety alarm. Japanese technique number 2. Breathing into the Hara, bringing the body back from the future. Visual, mother standing at the tent door, taking a deep breath, simple graphic pointing at lower abdomen, Hara. Another thing this family does, and that's heavily used in Japanese martial arts, is anchoring attention in the Hara, the lower belly, your body's center of gravity. Before leaving for the cold, before a tough decision, they pause, take a deep breath, feel their feet on the ground. It looks simple, but it changes their internal state. Here's a practical way for you to apply this. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, sending the air all the way down, as if you're filling your belly. Hold for 2 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. Do this 5 times, keeping your attention on your body weight, on your feet, not on your thoughts. You're literally bringing your anxious mind back from the future and into your body right now. In Yakutia, if they go out into the cold breathing fast and shallow, without focus, the body wastes energy and the risk goes up. With anxiety, it's the same: short breath, tight chest, racing head. The Hara breathing technique is a Japanese way of saying, get out of your head and come back into your body. It's the foundation that makes any other tool work better. Japanese technique number 3. Simplified Niken, changing your inner dialogue before sleep. Visual, warm inside of the tent/house, family eating together, then evening lighting, calmer mood. In Japan, there's a practice called Niken, which roughly means looking inside. Again, this family may not know the word, but they do something similar every night. Instead of going to bed chewing on everything that might go wrong, they review the day with 3 simple questions you can copy today. The 3 questions are: what did I receive today? From people, from life, from my own effort? What did I give today? To my family, my work, my body, my mind? What problems did I cause today? Without beating yourself up, just honest noticing. This shifts the focus away from I am a disaster and puts your mind in observer mode. Why does this help anxiety? Because an anxious brain goes to bed thinking only about future threats and past mistakes in a messy, undefined way. The simplified Niken organizes that energy. You fall asleep with a sense that you're not just a victim of the winter, you also act, help, receive help. That reduces the feeling of helplessness, which is gasoline for anxiety. Bringing Yakutia into your home, applying the -85 degrees Celsius protocol. Visual, alternate between Yakutia footage and everyday city life, subway, office, someone at home scrolling on the phone at night. You might think, okay, but I don't live at minus 85 degrees Celsius. And that's exactly the point. If a family can stay at least somewhat mentally stable, with kids, work, and responsibilities, in a place where just stepping outside is a risk, you don't have to wait for your life to turn into Yakutia to start taking care of yourself. Take what they do and translate it to your world. Emotional Kaizen, a list of real microtasks, only for today. Hara breathing, 5 cycles of 4, 2, 6 before meetings, tough conversations, or when a wave of anxiety hits. Simplified Niken, those 3 questions every night instead of doom scrolling until your mind collapses. None of this cures anxiety by itself, but it's the beginning of building an inner shelter. What I want you to take from this video is, you don't control the winter, not the one outside, not the emotional one. But you do control how you organize your day, your body, and your inner dialogue. If a family in Yakutia can stay sane while living with anxiety at minus 85 degrees Celsius, you can also take your next step right where you are, without demanding perfection from yourself. Back to you, warmer lighting, closer shot, calm tone. If this video helped you see your own anxiety in a different way, consider subscribing to the channel and sharing it with someone who's always carrying the world on their shoulders. This is the place where we talk about anxiety in real life, without sugarcoating it, and without treating you like you're weak. Tell me in the comments, which of these 3 Japanese techniques do you want to try first? Emotional Kaizen, Hara breathing, or the Niken night review? And if you'd like, I can record a separate video guiding each one step by step. Remember, maybe outside it's not minus 85 degrees Celsius, but inside it sure feels like that sometimes. You don't have to face this blizzard alone, and you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Real courage isn't enduring everything in silence. It's learning to build, day after day, a safe place inside yourself. I'll see you in the next video.